a child, say age 5 to 10.
Right.
Do you remember giving a sworn statement prior to this trial?
Yes, I have given a statement.
Yeah, and that statement has already been admitted into evidence. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Could you read here from your statement here, what's blue, underlined in blue? Read it to the jury.
It is also possible that a child between ages of 5 and 10 could have administered such a blow to the victim.
Okay, thank you. Also,
Could I explain that?
yeah, you could explain that.
Sure. The question that I was asking if I believed it was a child or if it wasn't in fact adult. If there's a 10-year-old kid who's been playing football all of his life and the man is ramped up and so forth, that person could have done it as well. Does it necessarily mean that? No. But a regular child could not have.
So, a child of 5 years old has been playing football all his life?
Pretty sure I said a 10-year-old.
Okay.
It's okay, counsel.
From here you said 5 to 10?
I said 5 to 10 there. I'm just clarifying.
Okay, can I just clarify then? Earlier, though, you said it would be impossible for a child to inflict that type of blow. Just a couple minutes earlier. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying the word impossible. We foreigners don't like to use those types of words.
Okay, we'll move on. Also,
That's no problem.
you said, you gotta stop talking. You said that it's, excuse me, that the symptoms were consistent with somebody with battered child syndrome. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Could you read this part here underlined? Where you say it's partly consistent.
Wait. There's several lines
Right
here. I don't know which.
Right through.
Here, the child doesn't have any chronic one.
If you could start at the beginning.
Over here?
Yes.
I thought you crossed that one out. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I say partly because generally the syndrome refers to a chronic as well as acute symptoms. Here, the child doesn't have any chronic ones.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like me to explain that sentence as well for you?
Sure, you may.
Definitely. Chronic child, battered child chronic syndrome. And it requires generally that when we see these type of patients, people go through years of abuse until finally it ends in death, which is the acute part. It does not mean that there can't be just acute symptoms that are, battered child syndrome.
Okay.
In this case, it was solely the blows to the head, no chronic symptoms, and solely to acute blows, which led to this child death.
If I may, but they're partially consistent, not completely consistent. Is that correct?
Nothing can be completely consistent.
It's partially consistent. Yes or no?
Nothing can be completely consistent.
Okay, we'll move on. Now, earlier you said that the injury probably occurred in 1 to 3 hours. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you said it definitely did not. It definitely did not occur and within 24 hours.
That's correct.
Could you read this part of your testimony?
Wow, we're going back a lot, aren't we?
We are, because there's some inconsistent statements, Doctor.
I call it differing, but that works for me. Which one?
Just start at the beginning of the blue lines.
Is possible, but highly unlikely, that the injuries to this child could have been inflicted between 12 and 24 hours of death. I think there's a chance the injuries could have been inflicted between 6 and 12 hours, but most likely between 0 and 6. See, I like to give big time frames, put the possibilities out there, but seeing as how we're here at trial, and a man's life is on the risk for killing a child, I like to put it down definitive.
So you like to have it be, wouldn't it be less definitive? Excuse me, let me get this straight. You like to make it more definitive at trial because a man's life is at stake, correct? Is that what you're just saying?
I want the jury to make the most informed decision they possibly
So then
can.
you would give them less information by saying that it was impossible to happen within 24 hours, when here you say it is possible. Wouldn't giving them more of a time frame and more of the possibilities give them more of the possibilities?
Objection, Your Honor. I ask an answer. The witness has already given us the whole rule.
You may answer the question.
I appreciate it. Is it possible? Sure. Is anything possible? Yes. Could dragons swoop down? Definitely. I'm asking what is likely. And the likely scenario here is 1 to 3 hours based. Did you check the amount of blood?
No, doctor, I did not.
You didn't check the amount. Did your physician check the amount of blood that was
Doctor,
taken out from
I
that
would
child?
ask you just to answer the questions and please refrain from questioning.
I certainly apologize for giving too much information.
Okay. Now, doctor, but you just told the jury earlier that it was impossible that it happened within 24 hours.
Then I would retract my statement
Thank
and
you.
say it is minutely possible.
Okay, doctor, we'll get into that. You believe it's minutely possible that it happened within 24 hours.
Minutely, yes.
Okay, and you checked the injuries, or you tested the injuries to the forehead?
Yes.
Okay. And you believe that these happened within 24 hours?
Well, 1 to 3 is within 24, so I suppose yes.
Okay. And you checked the hematomas to the head,
I did.
and you believe those happened at the same time?
I had to, yes.
Okay. What about the bruise on the arm? Did you check the bruise on the arm?
I did an external examination.
Did you do the same examination that you did to the head or to the bruises to the face?
The very first thing that you do as a coroner is you look at every inch and square body of that body.
Doctor, could you please just answer the question? Did you do a microscopic examination of the bruises like you did to the top of the head and to the face?
No, I did not do a microscopic.
But you concluded that those injuries happened at the same time as the other injuries.
Yes, you can do that through clotting as opposed to using microscopic examination. I mean,
Okay.
you get a scab on your hand, and you can pretty much tell when that was done.
Doctor, I'm going to have to ask you to just please answer the questions. I understand that you were delayed in coming here, but we got to kind of move through here. If you could just answer the question that you're asked. Did you test the cut on the face of Kara? She had 2 cuts on her face. She had one on her nose and one on her lip. Did you test those?
You're going to have to define test form.
Did you do a microscopic test like you did with the injury on top of the head and then on the bruise on the side of the face?
No, because those were not directly related to her death.
But you concluded that those injuries happened at the same time.
That is correct.
Would it surprise you to hear that those injuries had happened days before her death?
It would definitely surprise me, but I'd ask you who is surprising yourselves.
Excuse me?
Where'd you get that information?
Teresa Donaldson testified to that.
Teresa.
Okay. Well, let's talk about how you were able to conclude that it happened within 24 hours. One of the things one of the reasons you concluded that it happened within 24 hours was the lack of fibrin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. But now, the fibrin doesn't usually show up for 24 to 36 hours.
Usually.
Okay, so the lack of fibrin in the blood only shows us that it could have happened within 24 to 36 hours. It doesn't narrow the time any more than that.
With just that, just the amount of fibrin, no definitive statements like that. But I would ask where you're getting your knowledge on the level of fibrin levels and hourly time periods.
Doctor-
Is that from the 1989 treatise you're looking at?
Doctor, first of all, you are on stand to give your testimony. You are not on stand to ask questions to me. So if you could just refrain from asking questions and please just answer the questions that you are asked.
Just trying to do the right thing.
Okay, well that's what we're asking you. We're asking you on the level of fibrin. And you just said it usually takes 24 to 36 hours. Okay, but now, you said in your report that you think it probably shows up faster in little kids. Yes. But that's just your opinion, though?
I am an expert. This is my opinion.
Are you basing that on any scientific treatise?
I'm basing it off of studying 2,500 dead bodies that I've looked at.
So you're just basing it off of your own knowledge. You're not basing it off of anybody who's done scientific research on this specific
not
issue.
1989 treatises. No, I'm not basing it off of that. No.
Okay, so thank you. That covers
No
that.
problem.
All right, now you further conclude that the injury had to happen within 12 hours because of the lack of presence of the polymorphonuclear leukocytes. You didn't see that many of them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you said that these usually show up within 3 to 5 hours. But are you aware that the majority of the scientific community disagrees with you on that?
Are you aware that the majority of the scientific community disagree with Columbus when he sailed the ocean blue?
Okay, so we got, I guess the jury could weigh your opinion versus the scientific community.
If you had the scientific community up here, that'd be one thing. But you've got one person versus one person. I've checked 2,500 bodies.
Your Honor, not Your Honor. Doctor, but our